So the final candidate I would like to call upon is a popular solicitor from Birmingham. He has run his firm for many years. Many of you may know him from his social media platforms and his open support for Gaza and Palestine. He will be running in this year's West Midlands Mayor elections, and hopefully, inshallah, with everybody's support, will be our next West Midlands Independent Mayor. That is none other than Akhmed Yaqoob.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. I start with the name of Allah, the most merciful and the most forgiving. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. First of all, I would like to thank Brother Iki Khan, Brother Zia Khan, Farhan, Brother Dave Nielsen. Now, we are here today, of course, for my election campaign, along with the campaigning of the other candidates. And a bit of background about why I got into politics or why I stepped into politics. It was after October 7th, when the genocide of the Palestinians started. And it's been 6 months now. It's happening and no one is putting an end to it. Our politicians from the Labour Party and the Tory parties have remained silent. The Tory parties, of course, not only have they remained silent, but they commend Israel and keep repeating that Israel has a right to defend itself. Labour, of course, none of the main politicians or MPs or councillors, apart from a selected few, have condemned what Israel are doing. As the speakers earlier mentioned, Keir Starmer, who was once known as Kid Starver, actually said that it is okay to put a complete blockade on the people of Palestine, which means no food, no water, no electricity. Treated worse than animals would be. And still, till this day, he hasn't come forward and condemned anything what Israel have done. Andy Street, the current mayor for West Midlands, was asked to criticize arms sales to Israel only last week, and he refused to do so. Richard Parker, the Labour candidate, mayoral candidate, again, up until now, he hasn't condemned what Israel are doing. Because of these very reasons, I stepped in to the political field. I didn't need to do this. I am a successful lawyer with a platform. I first started using my platform, my social media platforms, Instagram, TikTok, and raising awareness. It resulted in my Instagram getting banned on a few occasions, and also my TikTok. I've managed to get them back, alhamdulillah. But then I thought to myself, this is not enough. So I called out our MP, Shabana Mahmood, for abstaining from voting in the House of Parliament when a vote for ceasefire took place. And it was the very next day after that that I thought a practical and a democratic change is required. It's all good and well us going to demonstrations and us going to protests. I attend quite a lot of protests, and I've been outside Elbit factories where they make components for weapons that are sent to Israel. Now, with the support of a lot of the activists, a number of those factories, death factories, have closed down. My brother Arif is here from Dudley. He is involved in a lot of protests. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward him. When we pass away and leave this temporary world, we must answer to the biggest judge of them all. And we want to be in a position humbly and say to the Lord that we couldn't do much, but we spoke out about it. Whatever we could do in our powers, we did that. We were given a platform and we tried our best to raise awareness. A lot of people are silent. I'm a father of 4. I couldn't remain silent when I saw these barbaric acts being committed. When fathers are carrying their dead babies in plastic bags. Some of them are carrying limbs because that's all what's been left. We're sitting here, alhamdulillah. We don't have to worry about a bomb coming from the sky and hitting us, and all of us being shattered to pieces. We all got up today safe in our homes. Our children were safe. And let's get it straight. Nobody likes death, be it by getting massacred, by getting bombed, or by getting stabbed. Even natural causes. If we are informed of a young child passing away, naturally we will feel something in our heart. So our politicians who don't talk about this barbaric acts, this genocidal ethnic cleansing that has taken place, shame on them. How are they going to go and show their face to the Lord? A lot of people I've spoken to, they say, don't attack these politicians too much because they are working from within. Why work from within when you don't need to work from within? Why act like a hypocrite? Why not face injustice head on and say, killing of innocent people is wrong? We want peace. Asking for peace does not make you anti-Semitic or against the Jewish brothers. I love all religions, all faiths, Judaism, Islam, Christianity, Sikhism, Hinduism, whatever religion it may be. We are taught as Muslims to not impose our religion on anyone and let everybody practice their religion in peace. My first, of course, intention was to, and that still remains, to stand as an independent candidate to challenge Shabana Mahmood's seat in Ladywood. Inshallah. That intention is still there. And it won't only be me. I am looking to form a team of independent candidates who will support the movement of revolution with me, with us. Then came the mayoral elections, which are of course going to take place on the 2nd of May. I was on social media only 2 weeks ago when I decided to contest these elections. And I saw people who I've spoken to in the past, people who were condemning the Labour Party and the Tory Party. I saw these very people invite the likes of Richard Parker into their homes, Andy Street into their homes. And I thought to myself, are these guys having a laugh? Shame on them. Shame on them, of course. That's when I spoke to my father. He was in Pakistan. I called him. I don't do anything without my father's permission. Alhamdulillah, I'm 36 years old. If my father says jump, I say how high. And I spoke to him and I said, this is what I want to do. It's going to be a tough election, but I'm a fighter. I've been through trials and tribulations before, almost all my life. And my father and my mother gave me permission and gave me their blessings. For standing in these mayoral elections. And that's when I thought to myself, Andy Street, you better watch out. My brother Yasin's here from Tipton, been a huge member of my campaigning team. And this is a man who tore up his membership card. He's an ex-councillor from the Tipton ward in Tipton. He tore up his membership card in front of Keir Starmer because he wanted to be on the right side of history. He knows this world is temporary and we are going to leave one day. He can say to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I tore up that card because these parties were genocide enablers. So I've stepped in to the mayoral race, alhamdulillah. And once I've stepped in, I've realized that how can we expect these guys, these politicians, so-called politicians, to speak about international issues when cities like Coventry, Birmingham, parts of West Midlands are on their knees. Like Mr. Nellis mentioned earlier, he was an MP in Coventry from 1984 for almost 17 years. And there are ex-army veterans who are on the street living rough. These are people who fought for the United Kingdom. They've come back and they're left with nothing. So how can we expect these politicians to talk about international issues when they can't even handle regional issues or national issues? Council tax is due to go up again. What have Labour and Tories said about this, apart from it or agreeing with it, but not forgetting the ordinary man who will suffer rather than the rich folk? In Birmingham, we have a clean air zone and a bankrupt council. I was going to come on to that. Exactly. They make money from this ULEZ, but the bankrupt council is still bankrupt. In terms of parks, I think somebody mentioned parks earlier. I was out in Small Heath a couple of days ago, and a resident pointed out to me the state of Small Heath Park. I've not been to the Coventry parks yet, but I will. I'm hoping to visit and continue visiting up until the election, and even after the election if I have to. Small Heath Park, I stepped into it, and my shoes, all the way up until my ankle, was drowned in water. Where is the council tax being used? I ask. Then I went for a walk and seen the state of rubbish and the failure of collecting that rubbish on the streets of Birmingham. Residents were actually pointing stuff out to me and letting me know how disappointed they are of their current representatives. Andy Street, who is the current mayor, made a laughing stock out of us when the Commonwealth Games happened. Accommodation in Perry Bar, that's where I used to live, accommodations for athletes, for members of their teams, was made but never used because it was never completed. And this has been in the pipeline for years. So they knew the Commonwealth Games were going to happen. So then they had to spend extra money in accommodating the athletes and the members of their teams by accommodating them into hotels. Extra money from our pocket, not theirs, our pocket, from council taxpayers' money. And the council, of course, I don't want to keep saying it's bankrupt, but that's not the only council. It is. But that's not the only one. Most of the councils in West Midlands are on the brink of bankruptcy. So when people ask me, what are you going to do for the West Midlands? What have they done for the West Midlands, I ask? On the 2nd of May is the day that we can make a difference. Inshallah. Before that, you also have opportunities. On the 16th of April, is when most of the postal votes will be landing at your doors. I urge each and every one of you to be on the right side of history. We are small in numbers now, but people like the great Nelson Mandela were once small in numbers. He was labeled a terrorist for 25 years. He was in prison. He came out to lead the nation of South Africa. So a small number of people can make a great difference. When you take the independent candidates' names, you are not only starting a revolutionary movement, encouraging our youngsters to do the same, you are going up against the political elites who seem to think they can get away with anything and everything without being questioned. When the Iraq war took place, Labour suffered hugely, but they managed to recover because there was less people like you and I around. Now, we are not in high school anymore. I am 36 years old now, alhamdulillah. And there will be others. There will be others that join us, and jointly we are stronger. Divided, we are weaker. Unity is a must, my brother. So united, we are stronger. Divided, we are weaker. You may get a few older gentlemen from the community come and see you and say, we are going to vote Labour, because we've been doing it since we came into this country. But they came into this country to survive. We are here to thrive. We are not here to take part. We are here to take over. And I would just like to thank my sisters who have joined us. You are a big part of our movement. Sister Bilqis, who heads the protests for Palestine in Coventry. May Allah reward all your efforts. A round of applause for our sisters, please. On 2nd of May, when you go to the polling station and take those 20 or 30 steps towards the polling station, it will be more practical than any protest you have ever been to. Let me tell you that. Because you are going up against these people who think that they are untouchable. Who think, like I mentioned earlier, we'll send a couple of elders down and they will still vote us. The younger generation need to wake up. because we are taught to be leaders and not followers. I've seen unity this time around with the Palestinian cause like never before. That's because people are realizing that killing thousands of innocent people is not right. Imagine it was our children. Although the mainstream media call this a war in the Middle East, that's how they refer it to. That's why I don't even watch mainstream media anymore. Because they feed us with lies. They're corrupting our children. Shame on them. Shame on them, definitely. And I have a decent following on social media. So I've used my platform to highlight issues. And alhamdulillah, I have been highlighting them and I have been raising awareness. Any one of you who are on social media and just sharing one post, and if one person sees your post and goes up against these political elites and thinks in their heart that we can no longer take this, you've done your job, inshallah. So, I'm going to conclude now. I don't want to bore you guys. Some of you are yawning, I can see you guys. And this time around, let this be a slap on the faces of the mainstream parties. So when you go to the ballot boxes from Fawz Hill, you vote for Faizan. Farhan Azad. David St. Michael's Ward. He's got other candidates as well standing up all around Coventry. So if you have family members in other areas of Coventry, then please lend them your vote. These people are on the right side of history. Someone who was an MP and is now forming a team to go up against the political elites. It takes courage to do that. He's putting his own neck on the line for us, for you guys. He deserves the utmost respect and your support and your votes. You will have 3 ballot papers this time around. There are the local council elections, in which you are going to tick independent, or the candidates, the Socialist Candidate Party. Then we have the Police and Crime Commissioner elections. I would advise you not even to put a tick on anyone there.
Make sure you don't vote for Simon Foster, please.
Make sure you don't vote for Simon Foster, because he hasn't come forward and simply asked for a ceasefire. Shame. And yes, he has actually. He has closed a lot of the police stations in the West Midlands down. This election, what I'm contesting, was going to be a merger of the Police and Crime Commissioner elections and the mayoral elections, but they decided not to do it in the end.
He fighted for his job, he saved his job.
I saved his job.
He fighted it because he wanted the notes anyway.
Exactly. And another thing I want to make very clear. The third ballot box, or the third paper, the polling paper, will be for the mayoral elections. Do tick independent Ahmed Yaqoob. Because let me tell you something, as much as the mainstream media criticize me, as much as people like Tommy Robinson criticize me and give me death threats, I'm not going to back down. I'm in this field now.
They've got us to 50,000 votes today.
Today,
You know, that's what they predicted, and that's today.
that was the Sunday Telegraph. Sunday Express predicted I am going to receive 50,000 votes in this election, which will automatically defeat Richard Parker. But that's not enough.
No, 50,000, it's a start.
It's a start, yes.
By 2nd of May,
By 2nd of May,
cross the line, we'll cross the line.
we'll cross the line. Inshallah. So I'm going to finish off now. And I urge you guys to support me, because this election is your election, it's not my election. I'm doing this for you guys. Like I said earlier, I didn't need to do this. I'm not taking a salary. My salary will go to Palestine or other charities. Or other charities within the West Midlands that actually deserve it, that actually need it. I don't need that salary. Alhamdulillah, I am financially stable with the du'as of my mom and dad. And I would like to finish off by thanking each and every one of you for being here. I don't know everybody's names, but do come and meet me so I can have a formal introduction with you guys. But Uncle Azam is here from Birmingham. He's traveled today, alhamdulillah. Uncle Wazarat is here. They've come from Birmingham and they've said, we've got 30 houses, our family houses in Coventry, and we're going to take you around all of them and make sure they vote for you. And that's it from me, my brothers and my sisters. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.